Hello everyone. Talking about cerebellum, which is part of the hindbrain. It is located posterior to the back of the brain stem. Coming to its function, that it controls the tone of the muscle. The weakness and the strengthness, of course, is associated with the health of cerebellum, and it also controls our postures and balancing. It also controls the coordination of the movement, like taking a cup of tea needs your coordination, which is controlled by our cerebellum. Yeah, of course, there are three main parts of the cerebellum. The anterior, which you can see here, I have made a diagram, a very rough diagram, and the second portion is posterior, and the third one is folliculonodular lobe of the cerebellum. On the left near to the diagram, I've written something like the letter F, A, P. It's the embryological development representation. Like the most primitive part of cerebellum is folliculonodular. The second one is, of course, anterior lobe, and the third one is the posterior lobe. Right, so the folliculonodular lobe controls the balancing and postures related functions, while the anterior, of course, it controls the tone of the muscle, and the posterior, if it of course control the coordination of the movement. There are two fissures of the cerebellum, the primary and dorsolateral or posterolateral fissures. The primary fissure is of a V-shaped. It divides the anterior and posterior lobe, while the dorsolateral divides the posterior and the folliculonodular lobe. Is very difficult name for me. So below that you can see a diagram that it's from the anterior side view. You will find such type of view that you'll see that the vermis, which is a bridge between the two cerebral hemisphere, this vermis connects the right and left cerebellar hemisphere, and the shade view is, you can see the region is paravermal region, and the unshaded regions are known as lateral zones of the cerebellum. Okay, now the functional areas. Well, a vermis controls the motor system of axial musculature, in the paravermal zone. These are responsible for controlling the distal part of the body, like hand and feet, while the lateral zone, it controls the motor planning of the entire body. Like cerebellum is something updated by every information that you are going to do. So it is known as the master information collector. Like all the pictures, they're present out there. The information is almost in the cerebellum. So before cerebellum taking any action or doing anything, it has to contact with the cerebellum, and then it responds. Later on, neurologically, we will understand that how it does. I will delete everything from this whiteboard and write a new one. So first we'll have to understand the major circuits of cerebellum, so then we will understand that how it works, like the motor planning of the entire body. It's a little bit logic and complex in there, but it's not like a rocket science, you know that. So internal circuits into the cerebellum. First of all, let us discuss that all the external fibers from our body, they're actually divided into two. One is the climbing fiber, and the other is mosey fiber. The climbing fiber, there are only and only one, that is like inferior olivocerebellar fibers, and neurotransmitter in this case is part 8, while the remaining, except the climbing fiber, they come in Mosey's fiber. They may be like inferior spinocerebellar fiber, cerebellar or pontocerebellar fiber, or it can be rubrocerebellar fiber.